It's wonderful to welcome everyone today to the Jessica Soulliere Outstanding Service Award virtual reception brought to you by the magic of Zoom. I'm Kelly Sexton, the Associate Vice President for Research, Technology Transfer, and Innovation Partnerships at the University of Michigan. So I'd like to start by telling everyone a bit about the genesis of this award. This award is named in honor of our late colleague, Jessica Soulliere, who was a trusted and valued member of the tech transfer team. Jessica had an exceptional work ethic and a strong commitment to providing phenomenal, inventor-centered customer service. She loved the work, she believed in the mission of tech transfer, and she has made an enduring contribution to the culture within our organization and in the way it informs how we approach our work. This award is our way of honoring a unique and treasured colleague and friend, recognizing her enduring contributions to our office, as well as the broader university. And it's a way to celebrate her relentless positivity and boundless spirit. In difficult times, when I need a reminder of how to move forward, I remember 3 words from Jess: relentless forward progress. Maintaining a positive culture in an organization is always hard. You need to work at culture to keep it strong. Keeping it alive through Zoom and through virtual meetings has certainly been a unique challenge. I believe that one of the reasons that we've been able to keep our office's culture alive and strong is because it's authentic. It's a true reflection of our team and how we approach our work. And at our core, we have a shared belief in the importance of the mission of tech transfer, and also a belief in providing phenomenal inventor-centered customer service. This was Jessica's signature contribution to our team, and it's woven into the very fabric of our culture. 2020 has, without a doubt, been a very challenging year. And I am so grateful that within tech transfer, we've been able to stay the course. And in some ways, we've even managed to thrive as an organization. And I think this is in large part because of the strength of the culture and because of the contributions and leadership of people like Chuck Cole, who we are here to recognize today. I am so proud and just absolutely thrilled that Chuck is this year's recipient of the Jessica Soulliere Outstanding Service Award, because he is a team member that truly represents everything that this award stands for. Chuck first started working in our office in 2014 as a mentor in residence. And this was after the startup that he co-founded along with his brother, Biologic Engineering, was acquired. Chuck was the CEO of Biologic after a successful career working at Visteon, Ford Motor Company, ERIM, and General Dynamics. Today, Chuck is our Associate Director of Ventures, where he's focused on the creation of startup companies and business opportunities based on our physical science technology portfolio. Chuck has a Master's of Science in Computer Engineering, as well as a BSc and an MSc degrees in Electrical Engineering, all from the University of Michigan. And although his credentials are impressive, that's not why he's receiving the award today. Chuck was selected by his peers for this award because he is a true servant leader. He's all about helping others be as successful as possible. When you get the honor and the opportunity to work with Chuck, one of the things you quickly appreciate is that he never makes things about him. He works to apply his knowledge and his experience to provide the best possible support to our inventors and to our external stakeholders. One of the core beliefs in our office is the importance of celebrating success. And in difficult times like these, it's more important than ever, I think, to hit pause and to take the time to celebrate truly noteworthy, wonderful events. And so I'm really happy to see all these faces lining up across the Hollywood squares on my computer. I'm so glad that you're all here. And today we're going to hear from colleagues both within the Office of Technology Transfer and from around our ecosystem as they share with us the great things that Chuck has helped them to achieve. So with that, I would like to invite one of our first speakers up to join us and to talk a bit about their experience getting to work with Chuck. So Mike Sarathakis, are you on our Hollywood Square?
I'm here. Thanks, Kelly. I'm Mike Sarathakis, the director of the Tech Transfer Venture Center. And I've had the great pleasure of working with Chuck for several years, and I'm so happy to be part of the celebration to recognize his work at Tech Transfer on behalf of the U. As Kelly mentioned, Chuck started his career at U of M back in 2014, and I had the great fortune of hiring him as the Associate Director for Physical Sciences in 2017, which is without doubt one of the greatest hires of my life. All of us have had benefited from the wealth of experience and work ethic that Chuck has brought to our office, having had a successful career in both the corporate world and as a startup founder and entrepreneur, as you've already heard. He's dedicated and focused and patient and has this amazing ability to concentrate on the long road ahead. And that really just describes his Herculean efforts and slightly crazy efforts when he bikes 400 miles at one go, which is something he does frequently. But not surprisingly, those same attributes, along with his consummate professionalism, his entrepreneurial spirit and kindness and sly sense of humor, can also be said regarding his work at the U. And Chuck's own success are topics he does not really openly share. He's not a boastful person. But I have to say that without a doubt, there is no one that I can think of that I've had more pleasure of working with. And similar to Kelly's words, this recognition is especially appropriate and very much in line with the person the award is named after, our dear former colleague, Jessica Soulliere. Like Jess, who had an incredible passion for life and her work and her team, Chuck has faced some major life challenges during his time at the U. Yet most people that work with him wouldn't know it. And of course, this is the only way he would have it, because he always brings his A game personally and professionally. So we're just incredibly fortunate to have Chuck as part of the Tech Transfer team, and even more so as a friend. So congratulations, Chuck, well done. Keep up the relentless forward progress at work and on the bike. And with that, I'm happy to introduce entrepreneur, MIR, and Tech Transfer legend, Dave Hartman, to also say a few words. Dave?
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that kind introduction. Some of my remarks might overlap a little bit, but I'm a mentor in the physical sciences area and work on Chuck's team. And the team kind of put their head together and had some ideas for me to share with you. And so on behalf of the mentors that work on Chuck's team, I've got a couple of words. First, I will repeat, but let me just say that Chuck's a perfect recipient of the Outstanding Service Award named in the memory of our colleague Jess. Jess was a wonderful, caring, and brave woman to work with, and this award really achieves the goal of remembering her in the light of colleagues like Chuck. Chuck is truly one of those special people, and we're thrilled to see him receive this award. You might ask, what's it like to work for Chuck as a mentor? Well, it's hard to think of Chuck as the mentor's boss because, as you know, mentors aren't really managed very well. It's a lot more like herding cats. It turns out that Chuck is, however, a perfect leader for this situation because he puts all of the hard work in ahead of time to make sure that the rest of us are informed and can be successful. It's never about him. He never complains. He never has a disparaging word. He just has relentless action in a forward direction. And he accentuates the positive and works together as a whole team to serve our researchers, our entrepreneurs, and our startups. So in a typical one-on-one meetings, which we have every week or two, Chuck reviews the progress, and the dialogue is interactive. It's always forward-looking, and it's very action-oriented. One might wonder how Chuck keeps track of the 100+ projects that we have across multiple mentors in the Venture Center. Well, like all good professional engineers, he has a huge whiteboard. So when we're in the office, his whiteboard is really as small as you could write it and still read it, and chocked full of the projects and all of the things that we're working on. Plus, of course, he uses his Evernote and electronic notes. One of the things we have, and Chuck has on his team, is a multidisciplined team of seasoned mentors. And Chuck's particularly adept at facilitating interactive collaboration amongst the team to get the best practices and knowledge applied to any given project. But as has already been said, Chuck rarely brings his personal life into the office. But cycling is an occasional exception. Chuck knows more about competitive cycling than anyone else I know, and he applies the same work ethic to that as he brings to the Venture Center. And as Mike mentioned, I mean, last October, he completed a 444, I think that's correct, Chuck, mile non-drafting bike race along the entire length of the Natchez Trace Parkway from Nashville, Tennessee, down to Natchez, Mississippi. He knows entrepreneurship is a long journey with ups and downs, unexpected breakdowns, requiring endurance, and then the occasional sprint. So nothing phases Chuck, no obstacles too great. Chuck, the mentors admire your value, your dedication, your ability to listen, your creative problem solving, and breadth of understanding and critical thinking that you bring to the job. So on behalf of the mentors, we wish you a well-deserved congratulations.
Thanks so much, Dave.
Very, very nice comments. Thank you, Dave. I think next we're going to hear from Elliot Soulliere. Elliot is also another legend at the University of Michigan. He's an Arthur F. Thurnau Professor of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science in the College of Engineering. He's a serial inventor, and he's going to share with us some of his experience getting to work with Chuck. Elliot?
There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, it's an honor to be here amongst all these inventors. Well, I'm a professor. I'm paid to profess. That's what I know how to do. You know, I came to Chuck and I said, we got this thing. We work with kids and work in education. What do we do with it? And he, well, I don't know. And we've been working for several years on this. And I've been thinking about this issue of the award, which is an amazing award. Right? It's an amazing award. And I think I found three things about Chuck that it just sort of why he got the award. First, integrity. When Chuck says something, it's true. He's not going to say stuff. He's just not going to tell you stuff. There were times I was so sad. I was so depressed. It wasn't going anywhere. And, you know, it was almost inviting, say something nice, please. No. I mean, he said nice, but he's not going to say something gratuitous because you know it's phony. It's false. And you know that you trust somebody when they tell you the truth. And Chuck tells you the truth. It's the truth. This is what he thinks. So trust and integrity. But he's a very caring person. I mean, you could just scrape me off the floor. You know, we didn't invent the stent. We didn't invent the chemical process. We work with kids and teachers. And God, how the hell do you do anything with that, right? And he struggled, and he's helped. And the best thing that's happened is COVID, to be honest. But I won't go there. But Chuck has really helped us. He's caring. He cared about me. And so the second thing is really he's a caring individual. And the third issue, he's smart. He's smart. He brought Don Manfredi in together because we do software. And the three of us and my colleagues from University of North Texas sort of put our heads together. How are we going to do this? How are we going to take this? And the teachers love it. The kids love it. Everybody loves it, except, it's a little thing. How do we make it bigger? And again, with this COVID, they need digital. Schools are still stuck in paper. They make paper packets for the kids. Oh, please. And everybody's digital except K-12, but the COVID is forcing them. And what we found, I've been working with Chuck for 14,000 years, right? But he's smart. We figured it out. I think we've made a breakthrough. We started the Center for Digital Curricula in the College of Engineering. Why didn't the School of Education do that? They think it's a fad. The internet's a fad. It'll go away, I shouldn't say that. Careful. But he's smart. He's caring. He has integrity. He's a wonderful human being. Absolutely. And I think it's a great award, Chuck. Thank you. You did it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elliot. It's very kind.
Thank you, Elliot. Love the passion and love the authenticity of your remarks. And fun fact, Elliot's made me promise we're going to have a huge in-person party to celebrate Chuck on the other side of this, and I plan to honor that. We have a few remarks from another inventor who has worked with Chuck over the years, Professor Jeff Sakamoto. He has a class that he teaches on Friday afternoon, and so he could not be here in person. He's on a Zoom call on another line working with students, but he wanted to record some remarks when he heard about the event, even though he couldn't come.
Chuck, congratulations to you for winning the Jessica Soulliere Outstanding Service Award. I know you've made many contributions to the Office Tech Transfer and the Greater University of Michigan community. You've connected me and many other faculty in the physical sciences with investors and strategic partners and individuals and organizations critical to transitioning the University of Michigan technologies off campus where it can benefit society. But I know there's a lot more to mentoring at OTT than connecting technologies and businesses. There's also the matter of interfacing with people like investors and faculty like me. Speaking from experience, Chuck, I've always appreciated your professionalism and calming demeanor. I know that dealing with faculty like me, in particular, is not easy sometimes. At this point in my career, when I'm attempting to commercialize decades worth of research, I feel fortunate to have had a resource like you. Congratulations, Chuck, and thank you for all of your meaningful contributions.
Next, we're going to hear a few words from Denise Graves, who is the University Relations Director at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, which is a strong partner of the office. And I know from working with Denise, she's also a super fan of Chuck's. So I thought she would be wonderful to join us and say a few words. Hi, Denise.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Kelly. Hello, Chuck. It's been a pleasure working with you over the years. I remember when you first came in and joined as a mentor as part of the T3N program. And I'm a little hurt that you're Mike's favorite hire because Mike hired me too at the MEDC, but today's your day, so I'll let you have that. I don't know what else to add to all the great things that have been said about you, and they're all true. I had the pleasure of calling Jessica friend, and I think this is a very fitting award. It's great to have her honored at for this award, and I think, Chuck, you're a great recipient of it. I might add two things. You're a great listener, so and you never feel like when we're chatting with you that you're in a hurry to go on to something else. It seems like we are the only person that you're speaking with, or I'm the only person that you're speaking with, and the only thing you have to do that day. So you take time, you listen, you provide feedback. I know you spend a lot of time supporting these statewide programs, the MTRAC program, and you work a lot with and listen to and spend time working with folks from across Michigan and other universities. So I very much appreciate that. I appreciate your support and your contributions to our programs. And it's a sheer pleasure working with you. And I look forward to working with you for a very long time. And congratulations, Chuck, it's well deserved.
Thanks so much, Denise.
Thank you, Denise. Next, we're going to hear from Drew Bennett. Drew's an associate director in tech transfer and was also the inaugural recipient of the Jessica Soulliere Outstanding Service Award. Drew?
Thank you, Kelly. First and foremost, congratulations to Chuck. It's obviously well earned and consistent with everything you've already heard today, and he really is absolutely the ideal candidate. When I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, I kind of focused on a couple of things. One was a reflection on what makes somebody a good candidate for this award. And I had the good fortune of working with Jess for a number of years. I worked with her at 3 different jobs over a period of about 20 years. And I've told people this story before, but when I first started working with Jess, it was a rather unusual arrangement for me. I was working on some technology for the company that we were at the time. And for a variety of unusual reasons, I was placed in the middle of accounting, and she was in accounting at the time, and she worked collections. And she was in the cube right behind me. And I hadn't met her, and several weeks went on, and I would hear this woman behind me collecting past due debt from people. And I was like, I have to meet this person because she's just a complete fireball. And very pleasant, very polite. But at the end of those calls, it was like, you were very confident. I know nothing about collections. I'm not an accountant. You were really clear that somebody was paying up and they were doing it fast. Long story short, at some point, a few weeks into that, I finally got to meet Jess. And in my mind, I had imagined that this person was probably about 6'6", just a force to be reckoned with. And if you knew Jess, she was about 5 foot and a little bit of something, very small in stature, but huge in spirit. And that's really what the award represents. And that's what Chuck represents. So I kind of thought, well, what makes a good candidate for this award? Well, the stuff you've already heard, somebody who has a very good service orientation and is hardworking, really enjoys their work and a positive attitude, but also somebody who's kind, and that certainly represents Chuck. But I would often think about Jess in that context. There's a certain amount of I'll call it a non-dominating spirit, somebody that you wanted to collaborate with, and somebody that you just enjoyed that opportunity and felt that they truly had your best interests at heart. And that certainly represents Chuck's efforts to a T. But there were probably about 3 more important characteristics of Jessica that I know Chuck represents right now, because I can kind of see him pivoting in his chair. And the first requirement to win this award is that you have to be horrified that the spotlight is on you, because I know that is how Jess would feel. And you need to be excruciatingly uncomfortable for every second that this conversation is happening. And because of that, I'm going to talk slightly slower, because I know that it's painful for Chuck, because she would not want to be the center of attention. And I know that's the same with Chuck. And she would be counting the minutes till this was over. But what's that about? Well, like Jess, Chuck shares some incredibly important characteristics. And one of those is what you've already heard. It's not about Chuck. That is the foundation of who he is and why it's so fun to work with him. And it is service first and a really strong predisposition to servant leadership. The conversation starts with not something about Chuck, but how can I help you? And to Elliot's points earlier, I would tell you, when you work with any number of people, it doesn't matter whether it's faculty or anyone else, there's going to be good moments and there's going to be tougher moments and there's going to be a lot of stuff in between. And Chuck has what I would consider an incredibly short-term memory of things that are challenging pieces and a great long-term memory for the good in other people and situations and circumstances. Truly the long view. And that's something that I think is deeply shared with Jess. So colleagues are not only happy to call Chuck a trusted and valued and respected colleague, but also a friend. Chuck truly is the good guy, and in an era of a lot of tension and noise and ill will, he represents the better part of what we are all about, and certainly very much in line with what Jess would want to see in a recipient of an award named after her. I'll give you one last example of that, where it's not about Chuck. Chuck and I have a shared athletic interest in different activities. And this last weekend, I was doing one of my silly things that I do. But on Sunday morning, when I finished what I was doing at about 9 o'clock after a long day before it, the first text I got after I finished on my phone was from who? It was from Chuck. I've been watching you all day and all yesterday. I just wanted to tell you congratulations. And that is the spirit of Chuck, and that's the spirit of a recipient of this award. And as someone would have put it much better than I, and I think what is very reflective of Chuck is there's an old adage that goes, there is no give and take, only give. Congratulations, Chuck.
Wow, thank you, Drew. Amazing.
Thank you, Drew. Those were amazing comments and all very true. And you know, you're hearing a lot of the same themes from everyone that has the honor and the pleasure to get to work with Chuck. It's never about him. It's about the work, and it's about, you know, what he can do to support you in your efforts. And I'll just say it's truly rare when someone is so experienced, is so knowledgeable, and brings such integrity and competency and professionalism to their work, but is so devoid of ego. It just makes for like a wonderful workplace and a wonderful colleague. And, you know, it's truly part of what makes the office so great is having you on it, Chuck. So with that, it is my pleasure to officially bestow the 2020 Jessica Soulliere Outstanding Service Award to you virtually. As you can see, it even has your name on it. By the time we are able to have our in-person party, we will be out from under the University of Michigan spending freeze, and I will actually be able to get your name really engraved on it. But for today, I taped it on an existing acrylic. But by the time I'm able to give it to you, Chuck, it will be fully engraved. And so with that, you know, thank you, Chuck, for being here, and Margie and family. We're so happy to see you. And Chuck, I know this is difficult for you, but we'd like for you to say a few words as well about how great you are.
Wow. Well, the award looks great. I will say that. Yes, I mean, this has just been amazing. I guess first off, I'm really honored to receive the award. It just means a lot coming from such an incredible team. And, you know, I'm sure those of you who have heard my colleagues speaking, you can get a sense for just what an amazing group of people I have the privilege of working with. So first of all, the comments were amazing and, you know, touching, you know, Kelly, Mike, Dave, Elliot, Jeff, even though he wasn't here, Denise and Drew. Just thanks so much for the kind words. I hope you know just how much I truly enjoy working with each and every one of you. And Kelly, just a special thanks. You've been here 3 years, and I've really appreciated the personal support along the way. It's been great, and looking forward to many more in the future. I do want to call out Lisa and Abba and maybe whoever else was working behind the scenes, but thanks so much. I know you guys put a lot of hard work into this, and you guys pull off so many wonderful events, and this may be the best one ever from my perspective, but yeah, so I guess I want to say a special thanks to my family. It's really special that you guys can be here. And I did have a request to make introductions, so bear with me for a moment. I'd like to introduce my wife, Margie, who's always there. My son, Michael, and my daughter-in-law, Rachel, are joining us from Iowa City. And glad they were able to get off work and be here. Patrick, I'm not seeing you on the screen at the moment. There he is, but he's in Dallas. And then my dad, Walt, we got him up on Zoom, and I think you can see it there. He's waving. So it's just one of the silver linings of this being on Zoom is that they could be here, and just happy that that was able to happen. So thanks, guys. And then finally, thank you to all of you for being here. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm seeing so many friends and, faces from a while ago, and just people that I just truly enjoy working with, whether it's daily or, at longer intervals. It's just so gratifying and wonderful to see you guys. That said, I know that I'm the only thing standing between you and a gorgeous weekend here. So I do want to say a few things, but I will try to be brief. So first, like others have done, I really want to start by acknowledging all the contributions that Jess made to our office. It's really special to receive an award in honor of someone who was a colleague. She was a friend. She was somebody that I greatly respected and just really enjoyed working with. And so that makes this even more special. A lot of you here have worked with Jess, and you know all this firsthand. But for those who didn't, all the stories you've heard about her humility and positivity and her dedication are all absolutely true. Very remarkable. I guess one other thing I'd like to add to the list that maybe hasn't been mentioned is that I witnessed was she had a very strong need to be fair to others. She always needed to do the right thing. And I remember a number of times where before what could potentially be a challenging meeting with a PI or a licensee, she'd stop by my office or request a meeting, and she'd want to talk through things from every possible angle because she wanted to be certain that she was considering everybody's position and wanted to be fair to everybody. And that was very important to her, and I always admired that. She wasn't about trying to win, she was about trying to do the right thing. And I think we should honor that as well. So next point I wanted to make is I have a pretty great job. I get to work with all kinds of technologies from all across campus, get to help people solve challenging problems. And, even late in my career here, I get to learn new things every day and every week. And so that's kind of a privilege. But the best part of this job is I get to work with an amazing group of talented people, the inventors, the entrepreneurs, the investors, all our ecosystem partners. And then most importantly of all is my colleagues in the office. You guys make my job enjoyable and certainly a heck of a lot easier. So this is an individual award, but I've always had mixed feelings about individual awards in team sports. I always felt like there should be an asterisk because you really need to recognize and honor all the contributions that the teammates made to make those successes possible. And this is absolutely the case here. So I would like to do a few shout outs to my colleagues, and there's no way I can list everybody by name, but there's so many people that are part of this award. I'll mention a few. First, the physical science licensing managers that I collaborate with. You guys are part of the process. I'd really like to call out Dick Greeley. Dick's been the ultimate team player, and he just has an uncanny knack for unearthing startups anywhere in the university. I don't know how he finds them, but he's always so eager to send them my way, and I really appreciate that. Of course, I want to thank the entire Venture Center core team. So you know who you are: Mike, Dave, Diane, Joey, and Debbie. You guys immediately jump at any opportunity to help. Not only that, then you ask, what else can I do? That's a Diane line, but it's very true about all of you, and it's so much appreciated. I do want to call out Dave Rep. As most of you know, Dave is my counterpart on the life science side, and so he understands my role and probably me better than anybody. But I value his advice. I regularly use him as a sounding board, and occasionally as my therapist when things are getting a little rough. So thank you, Dave. And then last but not least is I really want to acknowledge all the mentors. You guys, you keep things interesting and fun, and I hate to admit it, but the MIR meeting is often one of the highlights of my week. I really enjoy that. But one special group that I really want to recognize are the physical science mentors, because you guys are awesome, and you make my job so easy. Dave Hartman, Mira, Don, and Rich. You guys are so talented, you're professional, and you're not full-time employees, but you're absolutely dedicated to the work that you do and go the extra mile. And it's such a pleasure working with you. You deserve a share of this award, absolutely. So I'll stop there. But again, this has just been such a wonderful event, and I'm really honored to get this award. And again, I really appreciate all of you taking the time to be here today on a Friday afternoon. It's awesome, and I appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chuck. And I can think of no better way to end the week than to be here and to acknowledge and appreciate you and all of your contributions to the office and to the team. So we have around 70 friends and colleagues and family members on the line. And I'd love to hear, from anyone that would like to say a few words about Chuck today.
Hey, Kelly, this is Dick Reilly. I'd like to say a few words. I'm not sure which more I can add after all those great things that people said, but I just wanted to say something. And I've said it before, but this may sound a little corny, but there's lots of abilities that come into delivering great customer service. And to me, two of the ones that I think of when I think of Chuck are dependability and availability, because Chuck just embodies these things. As I mentioned in my bell ringing several months ago, Chuck makes my life easy. When I get a startup, I just turn it over to Chuck, and I just know the right thing is going to happen. You'll get the right people involved in the right time. I don't have to come to all the meetings. He makes my life easy, and I just can go off and find more startups for him to help bring to market. So, Chuck, this was, great job, well deserved, and I really appreciate, the chance to work with you, because it's like I said, you make it easy for me, and you're just you're always there with those other abilities.
Thanks, Dick.
So I'll go next. I'm Dave Rep, fellow assistant director of new ventures, and like Chuck, I'm the occasional mentor wrangler, as Dave Hartman mentioned. So like many of you, I've been lucky enough to have worked with both Jess and Chuck. Unfortunately for both of them, they had desks very close to mine, so they've had both patiently endure me walking to their doorway and listening to me either complain about a project or offer me advice or reassurance about whatever's going on at the university. Early in my time here, Chuck, as folks mentioned, was a mentor in residence. And he and I had some challenging projects together. And I can recall one of the first times that I strongly disagreed with a faculty member. And I was unsure if I should be critical to someone who was considered a mentor or an expert in their field. But Chuck really gave me a boost and and said, no, Dave, that's our role. You've got a lot of experience and expertise in ways that faculty don't. And you've done your homework on the technology, so deliver the message honestly and fairly, because unless the faculty hear it, they can't make improvements. And I really appreciated that boost. It's that advice and much more that from Chuck that I've tried to carry forward in my role ever since. And now with a few years under my belt, Chuck and I, as you know, share equivalent roles. So we see things through a very similar lens. I get to see all the small unseen efforts that he puts into every project without asking for attention. He doesn't get to negotiate license agreements or give out grant funding or even ring the startup bell. But sometimes it's nice to know that all that hard work that you're putting into supporting other people's goals is appreciated. So I'm really, really proud that Chuck is this year's award recipient and getting the recognition that he very richly deserves. So Chuck, I hope you know how much I appreciate you and look up to you, and the world needs more Chucks. So congratulations.
Thanks, Dave. Very nice.
I'll go ahead and say something. Hi, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I just want to say I'm so glad I get to be here and so proud to see my dad honored. And one thing that kept coming up over and over was me thinking back to the times that I was at the kitchen table, like crying about my math homework, or when I wrote a paper that I thought was so good, and then he came back and said, well, no, here's all these things that you can fix. Because I knew it was going to make it better, and it always did end up being better. And I can absolutely echo what everyone has said about how he can deliver that message in a way that is non-judgmental and kind and caring. And I'm better off for it. And so, why am I crying? I don't know. But anyway, congratulations, Dad. And thanks again, everybody.
Thanks.
Yes, and congratulations from me too. I've been fortunate in the past. I've been, part of the family for 5 to 7 years now, and I have been fortunate on my career side to have gotten advice from Chuck also. And I didn't, ever expect that to happen, but he has been very helpful with, always asking about my research and just being a really great sounding board for, different ideas. So I'm very grateful to have him, in our lives and to get to benefit from this. And it's very fun to hear from all of his colleagues about what his work life is like.
I agree with that part too.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, I'll chime in here real quick. Following in my brother's footsteps, I think Michael and I obviously got to see the parent Chuck our whole life, and obviously I could say a lot of amazing things about that. But it's really nice to be on the other side of it and be part of this award and kind of he's always supported us through our whole lives, so it's great to be on the other side and we can sit here and watch him an award and say how proud we are of you. So just so happy for you and proud of you, and it's all well deserved, and really excited I could be part of this and sit on the other side and watch you receive some well deserved recognition.
Wow, thanks. Kind of reverse parent teacher conferences.
I just want to point out that although Zoom presents challenges, it's really wonderful to be able to have the family from across the country and so many people in one place. And we have passed 46 minutes of somewhat formal and spontaneous remarks without food or beverage on the other side of it. So that is, I think, both a testament to how much we care about and admire Chuck, and also just to the tenacity of the human spirit, that we want to find these ways to connect and to celebrate each other, even when we can't do it in person, and even when there's no food and reception on the other side. And so I just want to say how awesome it is to hear all of these things. As has been mentioned, we have a lovely weekend on the other side, but I'm sure we'd all love to hear if there's anyone else who wants to make a comment about Chuck before we head off into a wonderful weekend here in Michigan. I'm hearing that it's going to be 70s, which is amazing. But I wanted to pause if there was anyone else who wanted to share any remarks.
Hi, Chuck. This is Mira. I'd like to say one word that I think describes you really well, and that is equanimous. You never get upset. You're happy, you show it, but nothing upsets you. And it makes it so easy, therefore, to work with you. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Mira.
I think it wouldn't be a Zoom call if I didn't say something, right, Kelly? So anybody who's been around me knows that I've said that Chuck is the best person I've ever worked for, which is absolutely true. But he's also just an amazing teammate, and you know, he gets it, and it's a pleasure to work with him. You can count on him. You know he's got your back, and when I heard he won this, I was so excited. So congrats, Chuck.
Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. It's great working with you as well.
Wonderful. Well, everybody, again, thank you for joining us from both, in Southeast Michigan and around the country for this. A huge congratulations to you, Chuck. I can't wait until we're having that big in-person party where I give you the real acrylic with your name on it, and we're able to break bread together and enjoy being together in person. But I think today was one of the best events I've had since being on Zoom. I really just feel recharged and energized by just the compassion of all the people here, and just how much we care about you and all of the great things that have been said, and being able to honor your contributions to the office. So let's try something. If everybody would mind unmuting, and before we go, I like to end the Zoom calls with a bang, if that's okay. It's Friday afternoon, what the heck. So congratulations, Chuck, and we're going to end the Zoom meeting with a round of Go Blue. So on the count of three, is everybody ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, go!
Go Blue!